replay with those who like to see this in the future. If there's anybody who doesn't want to be recorded for this webinar, you're welcome to depart at this time. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us and making time with your friends from ServiceNow. My name is Kevin Adler, and I've been at ServiceNow for almost 6 years, focusing on mission areas of the business. And today we're going to talk about one of those mission areas that is really impacting aerospace and defense customers of all regions of the globe. It's sustainment operations, and how do you do that with the investments you've currently made with ServiceNow, and how can we help you do that more effectively? And we'll talk about some industry challenges and observations throughout this presentation. We'll talk about the solution that we prepared today to walk you through, and then we'll end with some customer success stories, and also time for everybody on the call to ask questions. Throughout the call, though, if you do have questions, there's a chat function at the top of the screen. The Zoom panel will be able to entertain your chat questions, or you're welcome to hold them until the conclusion of this presentation. So without any further ado, I'm pleased to pass the microphone over to Josh Bradfield to say hello and introduce himself. Josh?
Thanks, Kevin. Hey, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. My name is Josh Bradfield, and I'm the Senior Director for Aerospace and Defense here. Truly appreciate you being here to learn more about how the Now platform is evolving and extending its capabilities beyond IT to deeply support critical missions within A&D, like sustainment operations. We have a strong focus on serving this key group of A&D customers, those of you with demanding requirements from your clients who need platforms that can truly scale across systems and work streams that are inherently agile and specifically designed to reduce operational spend while simultaneously supporting your compliance needs. We are committed to being your strategic business partner, and we highly value your feedback as we continue to scale and grow together in this space. For those of you who will be attending Knowledge next month in Las Vegas, I would like to personally invite you to connect with me there to discuss your specific needs and how ServiceNow can further support your mission. But again, thank you one more time for joining us today, and it's my pleasure to now kick the microphone over to Nick Kareem. Nick?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you. Nick Kareem here. I'm the solution consultant working with aerospace and defense customers at ServiceNow. I've been with ServiceNow for several years, and I've worked on several projects and initiatives with A&D large customers to transform their organizations, especially in the world of sustainment. And I'm happy to be on this webinar. I think Eduardo, you're next.
Thank you, Nick. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eduardo Cuella. I'm a solutions consultant here at ServiceNow. I focus on our industry, customer and industry products, which include our manufacturing products, and as well as focus on the A&D industry, on how we can help support sustainment, customer support use cases, and make all those operations more efficient and more streamlined. I'll hand it over to Jalaja.
Well, thank you, Eduardo. Thank you, team. Appreciate it. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar, and thank you so much for spending your precious hour with us, ServiceNow. And hopefully in the next 30 minutes or 45 minutes, you will be able to take away key learnings, insights that what we have gathered from our customers and your peers. And with that, a little bit about me, and I am with the Senior Director of the Product Management, focusing on the manufacturing industries and aerospace and defense industries. And I'm here at ServiceNow for 4 years now, but I came with a decade of experience working in the industry. And as also a consultant, as I learned that some of you might be from consulting as well. And so we can relate there. I had a very special privilege during my career to work with the Aerospace and Defense company as part of my doctoral study as well. So it's always fascinating and what happens in the industry, and what we are doing with the ServiceNow to enable and energize and reimagine the industry is far more exciting, and then very privileged to be here. So with that, I'm going to take the next 15-20 minutes to explain what's the strategy, what we are seeing in the market, and how your peers are using the ServiceNow, and how we are empowering the different sustainment operations, automating them with the ServiceNow capabilities. So with that, let me get to the next slide in here. All right. I believe I'm sharing my screen here.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep, we can see it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. So let me start out by saying that what are the critical things that we are observing with our customers? So in my role, I get the privilege of talking to many of your peers every day or every other day. And there are three key trends that I have been observing with our customers. So first and foremost is that with all the market conditions that you're experiencing today and how you are advancing your product innovations. So one is well, how do you get to the unmanned aerial systems? Or how do you automate entire sustainment operations and proactively serve your customers before there is a problem happens? And this proactive maintenance and predictive maintenance and combined with innovating the product that you're launching is driving many of the customer strategies. So the two things that are impacting how you're driving your business, one is Gen AI, Gen AI, Gen AI. Gen AI has taken many different phases and shapes in the last few years. We started in 2022, 2023 with simple summarization of the activities or information and messaging. And very quickly, faster than any other technology, we have now evolved and we are talking about AI agents and how AI agents can automate and revolutionize your sustainment operations or end-to-end processes that you have within the enterprise. So one of the problems that I always hear is that, well, all that is great. However, I still have a problem with my legacy systems. It's not one system. We have historically invested in many different systems, but those are the apps that are not connected with each other. They are disconnected and somewhat impeding the progress that we are trying to make. So I'm hoping that, the solutions that we are going to be discussing will solve many of these issues that we see today. And in the chat, please feel free to put your your information and your experiences and say if any of these resonating with you. We love to hear back from you. So use the Q&A or the chat to talk more about it. So let's talk about what has happened, where are we and why, what led to us, right? So again, traditionally, as soon as we say the CRM and then, your probably your brain is clicking is that, well, it's a customer relationship management. And we have somewhat optimized our sales processes as well, right? However, as you look at the CRM definition of it, it is the sales and services and sustainment operations and all of the end-to-end cycle. So we're going to see that in a minute. See, but here is the problem that happened. All of the incumbents that you may have seen or your peers or the customers that we have experienced, they are focused on in the front office somewhat and said, hey, I need to make my communications better with my customers or the channel partners or the service providers, which is a great thing, which we needed definitely. However, as you may recall that is that if you, for example, if you want to optimize your MRO operations, many of those operations are tied to the backend systems. Your agents and technicians have to work with a lot of different systems, whether they are verifying the customer entitlements, warranty, or a product catalog, specs that you're looking at it, or the new product information. All of these things are a disparate systems and human middleware. What we call is a human middleware swivel chairing. So what does ServiceNow do to resolve or address this problem? This is what you will notice throughout, and I believe that some of you already use the ServiceNow, so you might have seen the effects of this already. But the key differentiation, the way that we approach the problem is how do we connect the front office to the middle office to the back office functions and automate altogether. That means you're connecting each of the processes, you're connecting the people, and you're connecting all of the systems and making sure the information is available when your technician goes to fix a real system or a jet or a drone. So that's how we are approaching this whole area of optimizing, what you may call is the CRM world or the sustainment world. So what can we do? What can we do? What's our solution that we are presenting? We totally understand you have a number of steps, end-to-end life cycle. Well, you're identifying your sustainment opportunities in order to improve the customer uptime. And you're creating a proposal, you're writing a contract, and you're submitting that proposal, and you want as quickly as possible to convert that proposal into a program. And oftentimes these programs are very, very large, very long, and they span across multiple years. Well, during all these years, you have to deliver your services. You have to do the SLAs. You have to reach whatever is the uptime that you have provided, promises that you provided to your customers. And if there is any problem happens, which we have seen many in the field these days, right? Whether it's a quality issue, whether it is a warranty issue, you want to resolve that as quickly as possible. And not to forget, you all have a lot of service technicians that are actually going on site or providing the remote support to these customers. And you need to optimize all of those operations. And finally, don't forget our continuous improvement. So along this cycle, like I was alluding to, the problem is each of this step is managed in a different system. And these systems are not connected. And that is the exact problem we have solved with the ServiceNow. What we are saying, what we're promising is that you are able to self-fulfill and service and improve all these operations and connect them. And again, a lot of the times, the question I receive is that, hey, I already made the investment with my, for example, quote system or a project contract system, or I already have investment in the warranty systems, or I already have investment in another sales cloud or service cloud. So how does the ServiceNow works in those scenarios? And the very beautifulness, which at least I like it, is well, you can continue to mature your investments, and you don't have to lose the investments that you have made. And ServiceNow works very beautifully as a system of actions to connect all these different systems. So that is the beautiness of the platform that we are talking about, and that's how you are enabled to provide the services that you want to provide. So then the question becomes is that, well, how can you actually do that? You're saying that you're connecting all the system, you're bringing all the information together, and you're helping and optimize your MRO operations. How do you do that? So the number one thing that we have is the one data model and one architecture. So let's take an example. If you went and then you're trying to fix a jet, and then you have a product information, and you have the customer information, and that particular component of that jet is supplied by a different supplier. So you have a supplier information. Well, product information, right? Product models, bill of materials. I can go on and on. All of these are a data model and then underlying tables that are built in ServiceNow. Again, you don't have to replicate the data. I'm going to get there. But because all of them are connected, they can work beautifully. You could resolve the issue as quickly as possible. So that is the benefit of having the one data model, as opposed to bringing a lot of different things and then, making a Band-Aid approach. The second one is that, I'm going to also share a couple of out-of-the-box workflows and how they can help you resolve the issues faster. And then configuring them for your particular scenario would be very, very easy. The other topic I almost have in every customer conversation these days is the zero copy integrations. What does that mean? As I understand, as we all know, that you have made investments in your system of records. So you have the data in the different systems, and you may have a data lake, or you may have a business warehouse on top of it. What you probably don't want to do is that bring all of that data and replicate the data and have two systems of the truth, and then you make changes and then they're not aligned. So what we have an innovative approach at ServiceNow is the zero copy integration. Again, as you are thinking through how do you operationalize, and when you are sending a technician to the field to fix this particular component, that's where it matters, right? You want that system of truth, and you want that information to be accessible when you need it and where you need it. The last but not least, the most important conversation of the hour is the how you are using the predictive Gen AI and AI agents capabilities. Because we embedded AI into the platform, those capabilities are available when you are actually working on the workflow. You don't have to go out of the workflow to go and then ask a question to the AI agent, get a task there and come back. You don't have to do all of those things. You can go to your operations, and then when you are repairing or maintaining, you can say, hey, what are my instructions? How can I fix it? AI agent, can you verify this for me? Or can you give me a summary of this? Because all of it is embedded in the platform, it's right there and then it's very seamless for you. So that's how I would think about how ServiceNow differentiates it and enables the automation that we promised it would enable for you. Again, to just remind you a little bit, if this is resonating, unfortunately, I can't actually see the chat, but if it is resonating or anything that you want to expand, please do drop a note and then we'll pick it up from there. So it all leads to one thing, right? How are we using all of this thing? We talked about workflow data fabric, we talked about agentic AI, and we talked about the cloud, and we talked about the zero copy. All of the things are feeding directly into the solutions, very industry specific solutions we are building for you. As you learn more about the ServiceNow, you will realize that every industry solutions that we are building includes the foundational elements. That means you don't have to go and purchase the ServiceNow cloud to get those benefits for you. Industry solutions will automatically give you all these nice innovative capabilities that we talked about. All right, so the question, what exactly, give me some of the use cases that where you are making difference, where is your peers actually using ServiceNow to solve and what type of the problems? We all understand as you are doing the sustainment operations and more, it's not about the product, it is the PBLs that you do. How can you achieve the performance? How can you write the sustainment contract? Identify that opportunity quickly, write your proposal, verify your contract, get the contracting done, convert that into the program, and execute your program. As you're thinking about this one, typically what I have observed is that your opportunities are captured in a different systems, and then your proposals are being written in a different systems, and then your contracts are managed in a different systems, and your programs are managed in a different systems. Like I said, you don't have to replace everything. You can keep the ones you love the most, but then think about that putting a layer on top of those things as well. Think about a world where you could capture the opportunity, and then all the information is transformed into the proposal you're writing, and that is connected seamlessly with the contract you're executing. And all of the steps are converted into an order, and then you can execute and track and monitor your program. And multi-years, you're not losing any of those. And then, of course, you can send back and forth the information with your system of record if you have that. So that is how we are reimagining the world about how you track all of these steps in one place in here. And of course, you're improving your operational efficiencies, and you're also boosting the revenues that you're getting from your sustainment operations. So let's go on to what happens after you sell. So now you have converted that into an orders. However, what I have learned talking to the customers like yourself is that those orders and the contracts that you're writing oftentimes have lots of iterations. Whether the customer changes them or whether you change your programs, or your engineers in the back end says that, hey, I can't really deliver those particular things, so we need to update those things. So any of those exceptions typically is a manual process. You have to talk to a lot of people and you have to share the information with a lot of people, and then you have to manually change your contracts and RFPs that you're writing. So what we're doing is that how do you handle all of those exceptions and automate them? Again, well, now let's say that this is a seamless process and you handled everything, and then you have promised to deliver your product and the services, and then you wrote invoice, you generate an invoice and send it to the customer. Oftentimes, there are lots of adjustments happen. Whether you breach the performance SLAs that you have, or particular product is damaged, or you may or may not deliver a service that is promised. Whatever the reason, there is a lot of investment, invoice adjustments, and disputes that happen in the process. Again, this goes back to the point, right? Whenever we have such situations, the middle office employees or the customer support employees and back office employees, everybody try to get together and then try to resolve these issues. And imagine ServiceNow as your friend, automating all of these processes and helping improve those operational efficiencies. And this is one of the use cases, examples that I hear quite a bit, or at least, if you were to ask me, where do they start the journey of, is that, okay, well, this is one of the important examples that customers are starting the journey with. Excuse me. And last but not least, a lot packed on this slide in here. Let me decipher for you is ultimately, you're responsible for the mission critical systems. You are responsible to deliver the performance-based contracts that you have written. Sometimes I have seen those performance contracts being up north of 99%. So when a product issue happens, it is very, very important that you resolve the issues as quickly as possible. But the problem that happens when resolving issues is that, well, sometimes you don't know if it's a very technical issue, very complicated issue. You don't know who you are talking to. You don't know who the right person is. Even if you know the right person, you probably might not have the right information at hand. Or maybe you just have to, again, we keep talking about swivel chairing, right? There is a common theme across this. So what we are doing here is that we are integrating, collecting the information, and having the out-of-the-box workflows to resolve these technical issues that matter the most for you. Take about the claims as well. It's a very expensive process. Irrespective of how best your offering services are, you do encounter the warranty claims, or repair claims, or any other claims that you may see it. But the problem here is that how do you verify quickly? There's a lot of information you need to verify. Sometimes some of them are pre-authorized, some of them need, say, approvals. So how do you automate all of those different processes? So the quality, I don't have to say much in here, is that I believe you all understand if there is a product quality issues, whether it's coming from the claim, whether it's coming from the technical issues, there are a lot of quality issues that you actually keep track of it internally. And then I'm also a Six Sigma belt in my career, so I understand it is quite a tedious process, very demanding process. So what we are doing here is that we are digitizing all of the industry standards that we have, and then making them available to the employees, whether it's a quality, customer support, all the stakeholders, tens and hundreds of the stakeholders you are collaborating with, and then automating the process so you can resolve the issues very quickly. And then also provide that proactive maintenance that you aspire to do. And finally, that for any reason that some of these issues will result in recall. Again, the recall can become a very, very complex issue. It could be a different parts, different components of it, different customers and different regions and different service providers or different contractors and different suppliers. So when you have all of these different stakeholders, and how can you launch and execute those recalls without a problem? And then, of course, we all understand that you have to track and have the auditability, and then also create those reports to the government agencies as well. So these are some of the examples of how the customers are utilizing and where the ServiceNow is investing our time and effort and then capabilities into. Again, if any of those things are resonating with you, and please do let us know, and we will follow up with you as well. So a couple of points that I want to cover at the end is I have talked quite a bit about the workflow data fabric, right? And typically what you will see is that if you have many systems, you may have the other layer of the data warehouses or data like Databricks or Snowflake or so on. And the ServiceNow is internalizing and building these partnerships to enable zero copy, right? That's the name of the game. You can keep your system of records, but we will enable you to match the data where we need and when we need it. All right. So I think, I can't end the presentation without talking about some of the Gen AI capabilities in here. So this probably, the capabilities that you might have experimented already, and you probably have tried in different use cases. But the key thing to remember is that whether you are empowering your search with AI, whether you are doing your answers with AI, summarizing, you can summarize pretty much anything, right? Knowledge, cases, interactions, emails, phone calls, all of things, right? How can you get that summary instead of reading the 2 pages long documentation of a case or anything? And sometimes this is one of the important issues that I always hear. Knowledge is in people's mind, especially for our industries. There is one Bob, there is one Susie who knows how to do it. And they do perfectly. But then there are hundreds of other Bobs, they can't do it. So how can we get the knowledge out of one person who can do it really great into the democratize that information by automatically creating a knowledge articles with the Gen AI? So it would be very sweet. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend. That's one of the things customers really love it. So that's a Gen AI. But then where are we going? Like I said, this revolution has been very fast in the industry. I haven't seen in my 25 years of a career any other technology picking up so fast. So now we are talking about AI agents. Think about this as a network of agents doing a specific task. For example, we talked about knowledge creation. That could be one AI agent, a specific task. There is another agent who is doing the case summarization. There is another agent who is verifying the information. So essentially, AI agent does the 2 things. One, it determines, it's not a summarization. That is a common myth that still some people believe. It takes a lot of these AI agents, creates a network of them, and there is a brain. The brain is the orchestrator. Orchestrator is so strong, it figures out what agent I should use for what task, and I make the decisions. I do the actions. And then I figure out what AI agent that I should trigger. And then when we need the human interactions. Of course, when we talk about the AI agent, it's always the human, right? That's in our hands and how we enable them. When human needs to give a permission to a particular agent to act in a way. So that's what, we're all working towards. And then again, you would see quite a bit coming from the ServiceNow as well. See, in March, we just release the triage use cases, for example, and we will be releasing more and more in the future as well. It's all in the terms of, how can we improve and provide the help that you need in order to improve the efficiencies in your operations and help give more time for your agents and better experiences for your customers. So that I took quite a bit of time to explain all the different capabilities and solutions, how we are doing it. But I want to stop here now and see if you have questions. I also want for Nick to talk about a case study so you can all see how this is being realizing today.
So if you have a question, throw it in the chat function and we can address it now.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. We'll wait for the slide sharing, and then we'll talk about some customer use cases and customer examples.
Okay. Let me flip over to my screen just a second. And I think you should be able to see it now.
Yeah, perfect.
So before we move on, any questions for Jalaja? All right, Nick, over to you.
All right. So we have like 4 examples that I want to go over very briefly here. I want to make sure we have plenty of time also at the end for the demo that Eduardo has planned. So I'll be very brief, but we'll start with Kraft Heinz. Obviously, it is a global consumer goods company with nearly 40,000 employees, large company, very recognizable brand, more than $25 billion in revenue. They did face challenges with manual processes and disjointed systems and their customer service operations. Specifically, their order management process was very inefficient. They had about 85% of customer orders needing manual intervention and over 30% undergoing multiple changes and iterations through the workflows. So to address these challenges, they chose to leverage ServiceNow, obviously, to automate their end-to-end operations from start to finish using AI. That transformation enabled them to streamline the entire order management process, which is the process they had problems with, and they ended up reducing manual efforts and improving productivity. The results, as you can see on the screen here, 900,000 order exceptions were processed way more efficiently with ServiceNow. They also ended up improving the truck utilization and on-time deliveries, leading to better customer satisfaction. Second example I have here is about Volvo Construction Equipment. It's also a global leader, but it's in heavy construction machinery. They leverage ServiceNow to transform their customer service and operational efficiency. They ended up connecting 5,000 dealers through the platform and enabling basically a range of digital services, including oil analysis, spare parts sales, and predictive maintenance. The third one on this slide is Xerox. Obviously, journey to efficiency started years ago with their print and digital document solution when they wanted to optimize field service operations. They implemented ServiceNow. They ended up achieving significant productivity gains. Some of their key achievements were on the field service operations side, where they transformed 3,000 technician workflows, resulting in 11% improvement in efficiencies. But perhaps the best way to measure this is the success in the time savings. From a time saving standpoint, they removed 53 minutes of routine tasks per technician per day, saving 600,000 hours annually. So right now, we're going to talk a little bit about a specific example to A&D, where actually one of the relationships that we have at ServiceNow with one of the customers that I happen to be intimately familiar with, they chose to leverage the ServiceNow platform starting probably in 2007, if I recall correctly, to offer sustainment solutions to their end customers for anything that is in their aeronautics organization, from fixed wing aircrafts to transport airplanes to anything that flies, essentially. And that ended up improving productivity and also consistency in the way they offer that service to their end customer. They enabled journey management, essentially, and aircraft sustainment support programs on one platform. So the customer or the contractors or maybe field service engineers, no matter where they are in the world, can use a single platform to engage through sustainment related activities 24/7 all over the world. That is basically, I think, one of the most effective uses of sustainment operations for an aerospace and defense companies that I have seen, and I happen to be extremely familiar with this use case if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, Nick. Very exciting time in our webinar. So this is where we're going to open up the floor and ask for folks with us on Zoom to provide some real-time feedback with a digital poll. Let me go ahead and share, launch the poll. So on your screen, you should be able to see 3 easy questions for us to get sense for where you are. If you were king for a day and you had a digital assistant, where would you hand off first to this digital assistant? This goes back to Jalaja's agentic AI conversations. The second question is, where is your organization focusing most in its digital transformation efforts? And then the last question on your screen, which you should be able to select an answer for, is which topics from you've heard so far are you most interested in hearing? So if you could take a second and provide answers to the poll, that would be fantastic, while we get ready for Eduardo to take over the presentation and deliver an eloquent demonstration. So Eduardo, feel free to grab control of the screen and the microphone is yours.
Yep. Thank you, Kevin. Let me share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, hopefully everyone can see my screen here. So today, what we're going to walk through here is just a sample scenario on how we can leverage the ServiceNow platform and all the tools we just discussed earlier to help you streamline and minimize downtime for all of the aircraft or all the assets and equipments that you need to support. So for the scenario today, we're going to show a customer who's submitting a new request for a repair for an aircraft that has some issues, and how that request can be routed to an agent, and then the agent can leverage some AI tools to help review the request and make recommendations on how to resolve that request, as well as create a work order that gets assigned to a technician, and then the technician can go ahead and make the repair and get the aircraft operational again. So this is just one of the scenarios. I mean, there's lots of other use cases that we can help support. We just want to provide an example to show how all those different tools and modules can work together. So starting here for the demo, I'm at the customer portal, right? So here, this portal here is where your customers and users would log in to view. They can view the status of the request. They can look up information from knowledge base, from articles, and submit any requests or any other help that they need from your support organization. So here I'm logged into this portal as Julie Lewis, and she can see she's responsible for a fleet of aircraft and a number of other equipment. So once she logs in, she can see here the display on how the status of all those equipment. So based on the number of maintenance requests and known issues with those equipment, she can quickly get an overview of what's being done to all of those equipments, as well as knowledge articles that may help solve some issues. You can have technical manuals, any type of information that may help your customers solve those issues. And there are a few ways here that the customers can interact with this portal. They can just do a simple search, or we also have a virtual agent that users can leverage to submit requests, to ask questions. And one of the things that historically virtual agents have been not as useful because they were difficult to configure, right? I mean, there was a lot of manual steps, manual work. You had to predefine all the different flows in your virtual agents. And so a lot of times they ended up being leveraged just for simple questions like a password reset or just looking up some information on a knowledge base. What AI has done is made it much easier for you to build your virtual agent and automate a lot of those steps. So you can just point AI to say, use those set of articles, knowledge articles, or request types, and make all of those available via this virtual agent. So you don't have to set up all the specific flows for your agent. AI does that for you automatically, saving a lot of time, and at the same time making a virtual agent a much more valuable and efficient tool. So for example, here, I just asked the virtual agent, I need some help with aircraft repair. Virtual agent is starting to like refine my search here, trying to understand exactly what I'm trying to do. And then here I can just, I just need to submit a service request. And it's walking me through all those set of questions. And I did not have to like define or create this flow of questions here too. All of this is Gen AI is generating those questions, generating the responses based on information from your knowledge base and the types of requests. So now it presented me a bunch of options here and what I can do next. I can look up, and it even gives me links here to the actual source of where all of the information is. So you can combine answers from multiple knowledge articles, multiple support requests, and I can view the sources if I want to go to that web page. So if I just wanted to report a service issue, I can start the request here, and it can intake all of my information directly from this virtual agent instead of having to go back to a web form, and they're going to walk me through all of that form. So all of that was done automatically. I didn't have to configure, program a specific flow just for the virtual agent. It took the information from my portal and made it available in this conversational format. So I won't walk through the whole form here in the virtual agent, but I just wanted to show you how what was possible on the virtual agent as well. So here, just starting to intake my information, and I could complete the entire form submission from the virtual agent itself if I needed to. So let me close this here and start walking you through the portal here again. So on the main page here, I can see that I have 4 out of 5 drones that are operational. I can drill down into the status of all that equipment, and I can see a list of all the equipment, the assets that are owned by my organization that I manage, and look at what's happening to them, right? So depending on what data is being shared, we can display different information on this page on what's being done. So if I know I have some aircraft that's scheduled for repair or it's waiting for parts, all of that can be displayed here. So I have one place where I can go as a customer and see everything that's happening, all my equipment, and submit requests on this page as well. So if I pull up on a specific aircraft here and look up, I can see all of the detailed information about an aircraft. So any history of maintenance requests that were done, I can display here in one page. So as a customer, if I want to see how many times had this aircraft been up for repair, maintenance history, any other data you want to share, it all can be made easily accessible on the portal. As well as if I want to submit a new request, I can just initiate the request here. It's going to pre-fill all the information for me, including the aircraft number based on the page that I clicked from. And then here I can start entering some details on what's happening and a description of the problem. I already had pre-filled some data here for the demo just to save some time. But even if I wanted to attach pictures from this page, I could as well. But this can make it very easy and a simple process for customers to submit those requests and track all of that data online. And once I submit this request, this is going to create a new case, and based on your assignment rules and some AI tools, you can define who this case gets assigned to, right? So based on where the aircraft is at, the type of equipment, availability of your agents, we can automatically route it, assign this case to the best available agent so that they can start working on it right away, and you don't have to wait for someone to manually assign this case, or even in some scenarios have to like assign it to different people because they're not the right person to answer to this request. So this is a high-level overview of the portal, but essentially it's a place where customers can go in, view their status of their equipment, submit requests, and then look up updates to those requests as well. So any updates to this case, you can come back to the portal here and see all of the detailed data on this portal. Now I'm switching personas here. So now I'm logged in as an agent, right? So I'm logged in as John, who's the agent who has been assigned to this case. And some of you may be familiar with our agent workspace, but this is a place where like the main page where agents who are responding to those service requests or are working on those requests can view a list of all the cases that have been assigned to them. You can define different widgets on this page that highlight the high priority cases or cases that need to be worked on right away based on priority, SLAs, or other updates to those cases to make it easy for an agent to find out what do they need to work on next, right? So John can log in and come into this page. They can see that all of those cases are open, pending, have been assigned to them. He can click on one of them and start working on it right away. And show you an example of a case here. And so this is a case that was submitted, and as part of those cases, one of the things that we can do is have a playbook associated to those cases. And a playbook, what it does is provide a step-by-step process on what needs to be done to resolve that request. So here, typically the initial step on those requests may be like a review or a triage step where you're trying to figure out what the issue is and what needs to be done next. So as part of this request, the agent can review the data, they can make updates to that data, as well as look at other record information on this case as well. So here I can see recommendations that are made leveraging some of our machine learning and AI tools to help define what needs to be done next. So here I can see maybe because of the type of the request, because of the type failure, I can review the maintenance schedule for this this aircraft just to ensure that all the maintenance has been done correctly, as well as this can suggest a similar requests, similar failures that occurred in other aircraft that may help the agent solve this request. So here there was another case that was recently closed. I can link those two cases together and help provide an answer to those requests, as well as suggest resolution notes. So if this is a known problem, there's a known solution way that you need to resolve this issue. This best action tool can make recommendations on what to do next, and even apply those recommendations to the case. So those items here is just a way of saving your agent's time, so they can quickly respond to a case, find out what the next action is, and not have to look up data across multiple requests or systems to find out what they need to do. As well as Elijah mentioned our AI agents, and this is one example here of an AI agent that can be triggered based on the type of request or based on some information on this request as well. So here, for this service request, the AI agent can do different actions, and you can configure those agents to pull data from across multiple systems. A lot of times you're not going to have all your data in the ServiceNow platform. You may have some maintenance data, some other legacy applications, may have procurement data, financial data across multiple applications. Those AI agents can help fetch data from all those different systems, analyze, summarize that data, and provide an information back to the agent that can help them resolve the case, or in some scenarios, submit this for the engineering team to work on an issue that's happening across multiple aircraft, and maybe a part defect that needs to be resolved. But this the idea behind the agents is that it can walk the, like for example, is suggesting, let's look at similar cases and then get the data and help that resolve this case. But this can help automate a lot of those manual tasks that agents typically have to do to resolve incoming requests. And after that initial review is done, the one thing that we also can do is if it is determined that the part is defective or needs to be replaced, the system we can start a request to automatically look up and reserve a part that needs to be replaced, right? So before the technician is aircraft technician is even assigned to work on this repair, you can ensure that you have the part at the right location, and they'll be able to do the repair right away. So here we can automate those steps, like reserving the part, looking up stock in nearby warehouses or other locations to make sure that you have the part that's needed, as well as submit transfer requests if a part is not at the location that's needed. So all of that can be part of the system that can orchestrate all of those different requests and manage the part inventory and moving parts from one area to another. Once that the part is ready and someone is ready to work on this request, we can create and dispatch work orders that can assign technicians to work on those requests. So here, system created a work order to dispatch an aircraft technician or crew to work on this aircraft. And this can be done, you can view a list of all of those requests in a calendar format so that I can see it for all of the technicians working at a specific location, all of the different requests that have been assigned to them and pending requests, and as well as once that request gets assigned to someone, the technician has a mobile app that they can look up all of those different requests, look up the status of those requests, and capture updates to all of those requests. So tracking all of that work, everything that's done to that equipment, parts that have been used, parts like replacement parts that need to be disposed of, all of that can be part of that workflow for those technicians. As well as they have access to the knowledge base, so if they need to look up some manuals or other information that may help them solve that issue, as well as like checklists or questionnaires that they may have to follow as a safety checklist before that aircraft is back operational again. All of those that workflow can be configured. Technicians can also use this tool to look up inventory. So if they need additional parts that were not in the original request, they can look up nearby stock rooms and or even other users that may have that part available, as well as generate PDF forms at the end so that you have a summary of all the work that has been done, and that can be stored with the aircraft, the maintenance record. AI is also available in our field service tool, so we can generate closure notes automatically and help guide all those technicians before they complete those requests. And then finally, just to close out here, we have so all of this data that's being captured in our platform can be displayed and analyzed on reports. So we have a built-in reporting and analytics tool that we can track all of the different metrics associated with those requests. So backlogs, how long it's taking to solve those requests, all of the even location of all of those different aircrafts and maintenance operational data by location. All of that can be captured, displayed on reports that can help you analyze and improve your operations. But I haven't been able to look at the chat. I just wanted to see if there are any questions on the chat here before I hand it back over to Kevin.
No questions thus far for either you or Jalaja. No. But I appreciate, Eduardo, are you complete with your demo?
Yes, yeah, that's all. Yeah, we have to show. I mean, yeah, just the end-to-end sustainment case on how to repair and get the aircraft back up in operation.
Fantastic. So with that, the presentation is now at the end portion of the show, and we're just going to walk through a few of the upcoming events that we think this audience will have interest in. And while we're doing this, if you want to raise your hand, we can take you off mute, or we can take your questions in the chat. But we do have a webinar in I guess 2 more weeks, also focused on this same sector, but different personas in your group for managing source to pay. So procurement, supply chain, logistics, and all of that complex contracting workflows back and forth. ServiceNow also has solutions built out of the box for our customers, and I'll send you information on that webinar. You can register as well. And as Josh mentioned at the top of the hour, we will be in Vegas in May for Knowledge, our largest customer event in the year. And we've got specific content for folks who manufacture items that we've got lined up ready for you to attend. So with that, that concludes the webinar. And if there's any other questions, we're going to stick on and take them. But do appreciate everybody's attendance today. And with that, that concludes today's webinar. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.